Some people only learn to regret after they've lost someone. They don't cherish what they have, but they crave what they can't. Me, the master of the sob story Dylan Carter, and Chloe Hayes were supposed to be best friends. We made a pact. No matter who Chloe ended up with, the other two would stay friends. In my last life, I confessed my feelings to her, but Dylan deliberately cut me off at the last second and confessed first. Even though Chloe and I ended up together, she always felt guilty about Dylan and kept him around as her guy best friend. I never imagined it would become my personal nightmare. The manipulative bastard was a constant presence, and Chloe always defended him. Then I was reborn. When Dylan tried to pull the same stunt, I immediately backed off my own confession and let them have each other. This time, it's my turn to be the guy best friend. And damn, it feels good. The tables have turned. Now it's my turn to ask your girlfriend for help, right? Hey, she's not my girlfriend. I can push a little, can't I? I'm walking the path of the manipulator, and it's a hell of a ride. Rebirth Chloe, from the first moment I saw you, I was captivated by your smile. I know I might not be good enough, but please, give me a chance to take care of you. Hearing those familiar words, my eyes snapped open. I was back, reborn at the very scene I had so carefully prepared, only to be hijacked by that snake. Dylan Carter? Chloe Hayes, my girlfriend from a past life, was standing in the middle of a heart I'd made from rose petals, wearing a simple white dress. And I was holding a bouquet of her favorite champagne roses. This scene, my pupils contracted, my heart hammered against my ribs. I recognized this unforgettable moment instantly. In my last life, it was right here, right after my own heartfelt confession that followed his, that Chloe chose me. At the same time, she promised she and Dylan would remain best friends, the so-called guy best friend. That single decision kicked off the tragedy that would eventually consume all three of us. Leo, why are you spacing out? Chloe asked, blinking playfully when I didn't react. Dylan's finished. What about you? Is there something you want to say to me? Our co-workers, who had gathered to watch the show, started egging me on. Go on, Leo Sullivan. Confess. My gaze drifted past her to Dylan, standing just behind her. His face still held the nervous tension from his confession, but deep in his eyes, there was a flicker of provocation, a smug look that said he was enjoying the show. He knew Chloe and I liked each other. We were just one step away from making it official. He did this on purpose, just to screw with me. Huh, I sneered inwardly. Every memory came flooding back with crystal clarity. Chloe's personality, the type to only regret after losing something. Her constant, unfair favoritism toward Dylan out of guilt. Dylan's endless, subtle sabotages. And my own pathetic end. This time, I won't give either of you what you want. A teasing smile spread across my face. As Chloe watched in stunned silence, I walked over to Dylan and shoved the bouquet of champagne roses into his still frozen hands. Me? I shrugged. I was just helping Dylan set the stage. Moral support. I clapped him on the shoulder, then turned to a completely dumbfounded Chloe and announced with a brilliant smile. Congratulations, you two. A happy ending for the happy couple. For a moment, the world went silent. Chloe was speechless. Dylan was speechless. He had a whole script of manipulative, woe-is-me lines ready to deploy after my confession, and now they were all useless. He clutched the roses I'd forced on him, not knowing whether to hold them or drop them, his expression shifting from shock to confusion. No, wait, Leo, you... Chloe stammered, flustered. All of this you prepared, wasn't it? Oh, you mean this stuff? I gestured to the rose petals on the ground and the balloons around us. All to help out Dylan. We're bros, gotta have his back. I looked at Dylan. So man, did I come through for you, or what? Set the scene right. Yeah, you did. Big time, Dylan said, a wave of ecstasy washing over him. Good. Just remember to Venmo me the cash. It was $188. 80, I said. On it. Right now. Dylan immediately sent me $200. I nodded, satisfied, and turned my attention back to a pale-faced Chloe. Chloe, Dylan's a good guy. You two take care of each other. If he ever messes with you, I'll be the first one to step in. With that, I ignored them both, gave a casual wave, and walked away. The sun felt warm and real on my skin. From this moment on, I write my own story. The game has begun. My turn as the guy best friend. After leaving the confession scene, I walked with a spring in my step, even letting out a soft whistle. I hadn't gotten far when I heard hurried footsteps behind me. Leo Sullivan. Wait up. It was Chloe. What's up, Chloe? Shouldn't you be with your new boyfriend? Why are you chasing me? I stopped and asked with a smile. Chloe ran up to me, her chest rising and falling slightly, looking utterly wronged. She stared at me like I owed her $100. Leo, back there. What was that all about? I was wishing you two the best, of course. Dylan's liked you for so long, and he finally worked up the courage to confess. As your friend, shouldn't I be happy for you? But you were so clearly, she said, her voice laced with urgency. You've been so good to me, staying up late to help me study, remembering everything I liked, taking care of me when I was sick. Was all of that, just as a friend, so you didn't notice, and you still enjoyed having two guys lavish you with attention? You knew I liked you, and you still let Dylan play his little games with me? Of course, Chloe. You're one of my best friends. Isn't it natural for me to be good to you? I watched her expression turn instantly awkward. I felt nothing, except maybe a slight urge to laugh. Just friends. Yeah. I shot back. You don't think so? She froze, her eyes darting around as if my question had cornered her. I thought. She stammered, unable to finish. You thought what? I shook my head, amused. Chloe, can't friends care about each other? That's a dangerous way to think. Dylan might get jealous. The light in Chloe's eyes completely dimmed. She looked down. Then what I said before, that no matter who I ended up with, the other one would be my guy best friend. Of course that still stands. I said seriously. I've always been your best friend. I am, and I always will be, your best guy best friend. Obviously, if I didn't become your bestie, this whole rebirth would be a waste. Chloe looked up, her expression complicated. She opened her mouth, but in the end, said nothing. All right, don't overthink it. I reached out and clapped her on the shoulder like one of the guys. Go on back. Dylan's waiting for you. It's not a good look to leave him hanging right after you made it official. Without giving her another chance to drag this out, I turned and walked away at a brisk pace. She didn't follow me this time. The sun was bright. The breeze was gentle. I took a deep breath of free air, feeling my soul rejoice. Enjoy this love I've gifted you, Dylan. And Chloe, get ready to experience what it means when they say the one that got away is always the best. Our game is just getting started. Three's company. Shortly after I got home, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Chloe. Leo, I'm sorry. I caused you trouble today. Can we really still be like we were before? I let out a short, sharp laugh and typed back. Of course we can. We made a pact, didn't we? Friends for life. Don't worry about it. I'm genuinely happy for you and Dylan. Smiley face. After sending it, I ignored her and quickly created a new WhatsApp group. With a wicked sense of humor, I typed in the group name, the A-Team. Then, I added both Chloe and Dylan. The moment the group was created, Chloe sent a confused emoji. Confetti. Congrats to my two best friends on getting together. This group is now officially founded to protect your love and offer the most considerate relationship advice. I typed, at Dylan Carter, buddy, you better treat Chloe right from now on, or her family will be the first to object. Chloe replied with a shy emoji. It took a while for Dylan to surface. He only sent a short, "K." I could practically feel his frustrated, wary expression through the screen. I didn't care. I expertly started sharing links to various relationship guides in the group. At Dylan Carter, check this out. Top 10 must-visit spots for couples. Take Chloe this weekend. This new influencer restaurant is supposed to have an amazing vibe, perfect for a date. The new romance movie just came out with great reviews. I already bought you guys tickets, screenshot. Don't thank me. I acted like an overly enthusiastic matchmaker who was bending over backwards for them. Chloe replied below, Leo, you're so thoughtful, /touched. Dylan finally couldn't take it anymore. A private message popped up. Leo Sullivan, what the hell are you playing at? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? I could almost hear his teeth grinding. Playing at? I replied, I'm helping you, man. You gotta be thoughtful and romantic when you're chasing a girl. I'm teaching you how to treat Chloe right. Why aren't you grateful? I don't need you to teach me. He shot back instantly. Tisk, I sent a head-shaking, sighing emoji. No good deed goes unpunished. Fine, I won't send any more. I'll just let Chloe think you're a clueless, unromantic block of wood. That seemed to hit a nerve. The typing bubble appeared and disappeared for a while on his end. Finally, all he could muster was, whatever. I put down my phone and started humming happily. See how fun this is? The more magnanimous, decent, and helpful I appear, the more Dylan squirms. He can't call me out on it, because everything I say is from a moral high ground. And Chloe, she's clearly touched by my selfless dedication, which only serves to highlight Dylan's pettiness and ungratefulness. The A-Team group chat is the stage I've carefully built for them. Here, I will play the part of the most dedicated guy best friend, and I'll slowly return every manipulative trick Dylan ever used on me, and then some. This is just the appetizer. The real show is yet to come. The virtue test. Under my diligent cultivation, the A-Team group chat became a unique feature in Chloe and Dylan's relationship. I remained the most enthusiastic, most considerate guy best friend, sharing all sorts of dating tips and hotspots every day. Chloe always responded positively, while Dylan's silence became increasingly out of place. A few nights later, guessing that Chloe had just gotten back from a date with Dylan, I sent her a private message. "How was the date tonight?" /smirk. A few minutes later, she replied, "It was. Okay, I guess. We saw a movie, got dinner. What's wrong? You don't sound very excited." I followed up, adding a concern emoji. "It's nothing. It's just Dylan, he seems a little rushed." I sent back a question mark emoji. "Rushed how?" "You know, physical contact and stuff. He kept trying to hold my hand, and tonight, he tried to kiss me. I just felt like it was too fast. I wasn't comfortable, so I dodged it." Oh, a new development. I immediately sent a series of voice messages. "Chloe, that's a totally normal way to feel. Listen to me, you did the right thing. You absolutely cannot let him think you're an easy catch. I'm telling you, guys are all the same. The easier something is to get, the less they cherish it." I deliberately excluded myself, positioning myself as the expert. I'm a guy. I know exactly how guys think. True love can stand the test of time. If he really loves you, he'll respect your wishes, not just think about himself. You have to make him understand that you're not just some random girl. He needs to put in enough patience and sincerity to truly win your heart. Chloe was silent for a moment, then replied, "You're right. I felt it was too fast, too, but I don't really know how to say no." "What's so hard about saying no?" I gave her a strategy. Just be upfront with him. Set up a probationary period. Say, 3 months? Tell him that during these 3 months, you two need to get to know each other on a deeper level, maintain some distance, and that any hand-holding, kissing, or other intimate contact is off limits. If he doesn't even have that much patience, then his feelings for you are pretty cheap. 3 months? Isn't that a little long? Chloe hesitated. Long. I immediately countered. A lifetime is long. What's 3 months? This is the perfect way to see if he's really the one for you. Chloe, you deserve the best. You deserve someone who will put you on a pedestal and respect you. Don't sell yourself short. My words were a masterstroke, flying the flag of, "I'm just looking out for you." Chloe was clearly convinced. "Okay, you're right, Leo. I can't be so casual about this. I know what to do now. Thank you, Leo. You're the only one who really gets me." Reading that last line, "You're the only one who really gets me," I let out a sarcastic smile. Yeah, how could I not get you? Sure enough, it wasn't long before I received a victory report from Chloe. She had successfully imposed a 3-month probationary period on Dylan, forbidding any intimate contact beyond the friend zone. I could just imagine the look on Dylan's face when he heard that decision. I put down my phone in a great mood. This was just the beginning. Dylan, I hope you enjoy the chaste romance I've custom-tailored for you and Chloe. Sunset Ridge. For the next few days in the A-team, Chloe continued to share bits of her day, while Dylan would only pop in occasionally with a K or an O. I knew he was stewing. Sure enough, on Friday night, Chloe messaged me privately, her tone a little excited. Dylan said he's taking me hiking at Sunset Ridge tomorrow, and that he has a surprise planned. Sunset Ridge? I raised an eyebrow and immediately opened my weather app. Just as I thought. Tomorrow afternoon, the forecast for the Sunset Ridge area showed thunderstorms. An opportunity. Sunset Ridge is beautiful. He's got good taste. /smirk, but I saw the weather looks a little unstable tomorrow. Did he have a backup plan? That seems a little careless. I replied, "Huh, is it going to rain?" Chloe asked worriedly. I checked the forecast for the city, and it said it would be sunny. "Mountain weather is unpredictable," I said breezily. "Hopefully I'm wrong, and you guys have a great time. But you should probably bring an umbrella, just in case." "Okay, thanks for the heads up, Leo. You're so considerate." Considerate? Of course. I came back with the whole damn playbook, after all. The next afternoon, I timed it perfectly, driving out and parking on the side of the road, not far from the base of Sunset Ridge. The sky was already overcast, and the mountain wind was damp. A downpour was inevitable. As expected, it wasn't long before I called Chloe. "Chloe, it's raining. How are things on your end?" Her voice on the other end was frantic. "Leo, it's really raining, and it's pouring. We're still halfway up the mountain with nowhere to take shelter." Dylan went on ahead. I could hear Dylan's faint shouts and the rumble of thunder in the background. Damn it, what is Dylan thinking, leaving my best girl on her own like that? "No, it's not like that. He went to buy an umbrella," Chloe explained. "Never mind that. Tell me your approximate location." I interrupted. "I happen to be nearby for work. I'll come up and get you right now." After hanging up, I opened the large black umbrella I'd brought and started walking up the trail at a steady pace. I hadn't gone far before I saw the two of them, looking miserable. Dylan was soaked to the bone, trying in vain to shield Chloe with a thin jacket. Chloe's dress was also half-drenched, and she was shivering slightly, her face a mask of disappointment and frustration. "Chloe," I called out, quickening my pace. I held the umbrella over her head and simultaneously shoved another, still-packaged umbrella into Dylan's hands. "Quick, let's get down the mountain. My car is right down there." When Chloe saw me, her eyes immediately turned red. She almost instinctively leaned closer to me. Dylan took the umbrella, his face ashen, his eyes darting uncomfortably toward me. "What are you doing here?" "I was meeting a client nearby. I saw the weather turn when I finished up and remembered you guys were here. I was worried, so I came to check," I said, shielding Chloe as we walked down. I then lowered my head and said gently to her, "See, I told you mountain weather was unpredictable. Some people don't even know how to check a forecast. How are they supposed to take care of you?" I didn't say it loudly, but in Dylan's ears, the words were like a slap in the face. Chloe's body tensed. "Leo, don't say that. It wasn't Dylan's fault. I don't care if it was his fault or not. Making my girls suffer is just wrong," I said. Dylan gripped the umbrella handle so tightly his knuckles were white. His chest heaved, but he couldn't say a word. What could he say? Blame me for showing up? Any excuse would sound pathetic right now. I helped Chloe into the passenger seat, carefully buckling her seatbelt and handing her a dry towel I had ready. In the rearview mirror, Dylan's face was so dark it looked like it was about to drip water, his eyes locked on me. I gave a slight smile and focused on the road ahead. The high road. After the Sunset Ridge incident, Chloe became quieter in the A-Team group chat. As for Dylan, he went completely silent. I knew that the rain hadn't just soaked their clothes. It had extinguished the tiny spark of hope Chloe had for this chaste romance. It was time to give her a new kind of thrill. That weekend, I called her directly. "Chloe, you free today? I'll take you somewhere nice. I promise it'll be more interesting than getting soaked in the rain last week." She didn't sound very enthusiastic, but she agreed. I didn't tell her where we were going, only that she should dress up a little. When I picked her up and finally pulled up to Aura, an exclusive, creative restaurant known for its ambience that required reservations a month in advance, Chloe's eyes lit up. "Oh my God, Leo, is this it? I've been dying to come here, but I could never get a table." The gloom on her face vanished, replaced by pure excitement. I opened the door for her like a gentleman and smiled. "A friend had to cancel last minute and gave me the reservation. I figured you might be feeling down lately, so I thought I'd bring you here to try it." The restaurant interior was minimalist and modern, with stunning design at every turn. I ordered with ease, explaining the inspiration behind each dish. Chloe had her phone out, taking pictures of almost every course, her eyes filled with wonder and delight. "This is what living is all about, right?" I raised my teacup and gently tapped it against hers. "You have to treat yourself once in a while." She nodded vigorously, her face glowing. After dinner, seeing it was still early, I took her to an independent art gallery tucked away in an old part of town. They were featuring an installation by a young artist. It was quiet, niche, and incredibly powerful. We walked through the space, a dance of light and shadow, talking about art, life, and all sorts of abstract ideas. My insights weren't profound, but they were fresh and interesting enough for her. "Leo, you know so much," she said, looking at me with a hint of admiration. "It feels like whenever I'm with you, I get to experience something new." I just smiled and didn't reply. On the way back, Chloe was still buzzing from the experience, excitedly scrolling through the photos on her phone. Just then, her phone rang. It was Dylan. She hesitated for a second before answering. "Hello. Yeah, I just had dinner with Leo. We went to a restaurant and an art gallery. You wouldn't know it. Tomorrow? I'll see. I'm kind of tired." After hanging up, she sighed softly and mumbled to herself. "He said he wanted to take me to see that new blockbuster popcorn movie tomorrow." She didn't even realize it herself, but she was already bored by the idea. I looked at the streetlights passing by, a small smile playing on my lips. Mission accomplished. The experiences I gave her weren't out of reach, but they precisely raised her threshold for a quality date. When Dylan tried to ask her out for a simple dinner and a movie again, the ripple it created in her heart would naturally be much smaller. It's easy to get used to luxury, but hard to go back to basics. The same principle applies to relationships. Perfect. That feeling of almost but not quite was exactly what I was aiming for. As for the cost, only dinner was a bit pricey, but that money would bring me significant returns down the line. Maybe Dylan would even pay me back double. The sick day, my plan was proceeding smoothly. The length of Chloe and Dylan's daily calls was shrinking, and the resigned, perfunctory tone in her voice when she mentioned him was becoming more obvious. It was time for a stronger dose of medicine. Dylan had managed to score hard-to-get tickets to the amusement park and was planning to take her. On Friday night, around 10, I sent Chloe a voice message. I made my voice sound hoarse and weak. Chloe, you asleep? I think. I have a fever. There's no medicine at home. I feel so weak. Could you do me a favor and bring me some fever reducer? After sending the message, I tossed my phone aside and calmly went to boil some water, even making myself a cup of hot tea. Sure enough, less than 5 minutes later, my phone started vibrating violently. It was a call from Chloe. I let it ring a few times before slowly picking up, answering with a weak hello. Leo, what's wrong? Is it serious? On the other end, Chloe's voice was frantic. No, I'm fine, I coughed twice. Just really dizzy, probably a slight fever. I'm so sorry to bother you this late. You just wait. I'm coming right over, she said, and before I could refuse, she hung up. I listened to the dial tone, a triumphant smile on my face. Perfect. The plan was working. 20 minutes later, Chloe arrived. Leo, how are you feeling? As soon as she came in, she reached out to feel my forehead. It does feel a little warm, she said, worried. She quickly pulled a thermometer and fever medicine from her bag. Take your temperature first. I'll go get you some water. Watching her bustle around my small apartment, finding a glass, pouring lukewarm water, she looked so earnest, just like in my past life. Too bad things were different now. I obediently took my temperature, 100 degree F, a low-grade fever. Thank God it's not too high, she said, relieved. She handed me the water and pills. Here, take this. I took the pills and looked at her, giving a weak smile. Thank you, Chloe. I don't know what happened. I just suddenly really wanted to see you. I said it softly, with a hint of dependence. Chloe froze for a second, a faint blush creeping up her cheeks. She looked at me, her eyes flickering, then quickly looked away. What? What are you talking about? You're sick. Just take your medicine and get some rest. Just then, her phone rang. It was Dylan. She glanced at it and immediately declined the call. Oh, right. You two have the amusement park tomorrow, I said, my voice full of apology. I'm so sorry for holding you up. I'll be fine. You should go back. Don't keep Dylan waiting. The more I pushed her away, the more determined she was to stay. It's fine. She immediately shook her head, her tone firm. You're this sick. How could I leave? The amusement park. We could go another time. Just as she finished speaking, Dylan called again. This time, she just picked up her phone and turned it off. There. You just rest, she said with a forced smile. I'll leave once your fever goes down. I leaned back on the sofa, watching her take care of me, feeling perfectly calm. On the other end of that silent phone, Dylan was probably losing his mind. His carefully planned date, ruined before it even began by a trivial fever. And this was just the beginning. My dear friends, what you took from me, I will make you return, piece by piece, with your own hands. A taste of his own medicine. On Saturday morning, my fever was gone. I felt great and sent Chloe a message to let her know I was fine, once again sincerely apologizing for ruining her date. She replied that it was okay, but her tone seemed distracted. Around noon, the long-dormant The A-Team group chat suddenly exploded. Dylan tagged me directly and fired off several long voice messages. Leo Sullivan, what's your problem? You couldn't get sick any other time? You just had to get sick the night before we were supposed to go to the amusement park? Chloe turned off her phone to take care of you. Do you have any idea how long I waited for her? Who are you putting on a show for? Don't think I don't know what you're up to. Every word dripped with accusation. Before I could reply, Chloe jumped in. Dylan, that's enough. Leo is really sick. Can you stop being so horrible? Me horrible? Are you blind to what Leo Sullivan is trying to do? Dylan was clearly furious, his words practically on fire. What kind of guy is constantly asking another man's girlfriend for help? He's a goddamn snake. Seeing the word snake come from Dylan's mouth, I almost laughed out loud. The irony was delicious. I slowly typed out a reply, feigning innocence and hurt. Dylan, how could you think that of me? Aren't we best friends? I really wasn't feeling well yesterday, and I didn't have anyone else around, so I had to ask Chloe for help. I know I interrupted your date, and that was wrong of me. I apologize, but I honestly didn't mean anything else by it. I just want Chloe to be happy, and for you two to be happy. Is that so wrong? My message silenced the group. On the other side of the screen, Dylan was probably shaking with rage, choked by my perfectly played victim card. After a long pause, he managed to spit out, through gritted teeth, Leo Sullivan, cut the crap? I immediately replied with a sad tone. I thought of you two as my most important friends. How could you think of me like that? Did I do something wrong to make you misunderstand? I can change, just tell me. Finally, I delivered the kill shot, the classic line Dylan used to torment me in our past life. Dylan, Chloe, and I are just good friends. Don't you think you're being a little possessive? That sentence was like a silent slap in the face. Dylan went completely silent. The word possessive was the final straw. Chloe immediately came to my defense. Dylan, you've gone too far. Leo has done nothing but help us. And this is how you talk to him? I'm so disappointed in you. I think you're the one being possessive. You need to calm down. Let's not talk for the rest of the day. After sending that, Chloe said no more. The chat went dead. I looked at my own saccharine, manipulative messages on the screen and put down my phone satisfied. Give him a taste of his own medicine. How does it feel, Dylan, to be beaten with your own favorite tricks? Planting the seed. After I turned the tables on Dylan in the group chat, he was completely on the defensive. Chloe started giving him the cold shoulder. I knew the time was right. Feeling any better? Want to get a coffee and talk? I messaged Chloe. Okay. She replied instantly. At the coffee shop, Chloe looked a bit worn out, clearly unhappy. Still mad at Dylan? I asked softly. She sighed, a wave of grievance washing over her. Leo, how did he become like this? He doesn't trust me at all, and the way he talked about you. You've been doing nothing but helping us. I looked at her, my gaze gentle and focused, as if she were the most misunderstood person in the world. Then, I let out a soft sigh and began my performance. Chloe, don't blame him, I said, my tone sincere, as if I were defending him. He's probably just too scared of losing you. Chloe looked up, confused. Sometimes, when people care too much, they act like that, I said slowly. He's afraid of losing you, so that's why he's so wary of me, your best friend. It sounded like I was being understanding of Dylan, but in reality, Chloe's brow furrowed. I pressed my advantage, leaning forward slightly. You know, I think love isn't about possession. It's about wanting the other person to be happy. Wanting what's best for them, even if the person standing by their side isn't you. I looked directly into her eyes, my voice mesmerizing. If I really had other intentions, why would I have pushed you toward him with my own hands in the first place? Chloe's gaze flickered. She seemed to be swayed. I pressed my advantage, leaning forward slightly. You know, I think love isn't about possession. It's about wanting the other person to be happy. Wanting what's best for them, even if the person standing by their side isn't you. I looked directly into her eyes, my voice mesmerizing. If I really had other intentions, why would I have pushed you toward him with my own hands in the first place? Chloe's gaze flickered. She seemed to be swayed. So, you see, I sighed, feigning sadness. He probably just doesn't understand what real love is. That sentence was like a thorn, gently pricking its way into Chloe's heart. Then I shifted gears. My gaze became deeper, my tone laced with a touch of melancholy. Maybe, in this whole world, I'm the only one who truly understands you, the only one who genuinely wants you to be happy. I said this extremely slowly, making sure she heard every single word. Chloe's head shot up to look at me, her expression a mix of emotions, gratitude, hurt, and the flustered look of someone whose deepest thoughts have been spoken aloud. A blush crept up her cheeks, and she instinctively avoided my direct gaze. Leo, don't say that, she whispered at a loss for words. I knew the seed had been planted, because in the beginning, she had feelings for me too, feelings that were even stronger than what she felt for Dylan. By bowing out, I made Dylan, the reason she lost someone better, even more contemptible in her eyes. This was a calculated move, designed specifically for her personality. Over the next few days, I subtly reinforced these ideas whenever I was with her. When Dylan was busy with work and didn't reply to her messages immediately, I'd say, it seems like he doesn't always put you first. When Dylan tried to explain his outburst, I'd say, it's like he can never understand the pure friendship we have. When Chloe occasionally mentioned something good about Dylan, I'd offer a meaningful smile. I hope he's really learned his lesson. These words were like water dripping on a stone, slowly eroding the already shaky foundation of Chloe's confidence in Dylan. I could see it in her eyes. Her look for Dylan gradually shifted from annoyance to scrutiny, and finally, to contempt. Her look for me, on the other hand, filled with more and more trust. I knew the framework of my manipulation was now in place. This was a psychological kill shot. Dylan, you're losing far more than just an argument. Art of War. The end of Chloe and Dylan's 3-month romance was approaching. Several days in advance, Dylan started posting vague, suggestive things on his social media, prepping a surprise, can't wait for the day, clearly trying to regain lost ground. He might as well have taken out an ad. Chloe, though still angry, was a girl after all, and she couldn't help but feel a little anticipation for the gesture. The night before their anniversary, she couldn't resist messaging me privately. Leo, what do you think Dylan has planned for tomorrow? He's been so secretive these past few days. I stared at the screen and sneered. I knew Dylan's playbook inside and out. Through a mutual friend, he found out that Chloe was interested in a starry sky projector. His plan was to take her to a scenic overlook outside the city and use the projector to create a fake starry night. Tacky and completely unoriginal. He's putting in so much effort. The surprise is bound to be romantic. Slash smirk, don't worry. He's definitely learned his lesson this time. The next morning, Dylan tagged me in the group chat. At Leo Sullivan, buddy, do me a favor tonight. Don't ask Chloe out. I have major plans. No problem. You got it. The anniversary is what matters. Need any help? I replied. Dylan seemed pleased with my cooperation. Nope. All set. Secret location. I just need you to stay out of the picture. I'll buy you dinner later. You're the man, bro. I hyped him up. By the way, I think today is the last day of the Light of the Impressionist exhibition at the City Art Museum, the one with the original paintings. Didn't Chloe say she really wanted to go, but couldn't get tickets? Too bad you're taking her to your secret spot. Looks like she'll miss it. After sending that, I closed out of the app. Sure enough, less than half an hour later, my phone rang. It was Chloe, her voice a mix of excitement and urgency. Leo, the Light of the Impressionist exhibition you mentioned, is today really the last day? Are you sure they're original paintings? Yeah, I paused for effect. A few smaller pieces by Monet and Renoir are there. It took a lot of effort to get 2 tickets. I was going to surprise you. But never mind, since Dylan has more important plans. No, I want to go. Chloe cut me off immediately. I've been dying to see that exhibition. It's way more important than some secret spot. I'll talk to Dylan. Is that a good idea? I pretended to be hesitant. Dylan did. It's a great idea. Chloe's tone was firm. We can go to the secret spot later. The exhibition is only here for one more day. Leo, will you go with me? Please. Mission accomplished. I wasn't the one asking her out. His own girlfriend was asking me. I suppressed a smile, my voice tinged with a mix of resignation and fondness. All right, I can never say no to you, but you have to clear it with Dylan, okay? I don't want him blaming me again. If it works out, I'll see you at the museum entrance at 2. Yes, see you there. That afternoon, I met Chloe at the museum. She wore an elegant dress, her face beaming with joy. The exhibition was incredible. The power of the original art was something no print could replicate. Chloe was completely absorbed, letting out soft gasps of awe and pulling me over to discuss different pieces. We lost ourselves in the world of art, completely forgetting the time, and forgetting a certain someone waiting bitterly at a secret location. It wasn't until evening, when we left the museum, that Chloe seemed to remember something and picked up her phone. There were over a dozen missed calls from Dylan and a flood of messages. She frowned and called him back directly. Chloe, where are you? I've been waiting for you for hours. It's so windy up here, I already have the projector set up. Dylan asked frantically. Chloe cut him off impatiently. I'm at the art museum. You can play with it by yourself. I'm tired, I'm going home. Without giving him a chance to react, she hung up. She let out a long breath and smiled at me. Come on, Leo, I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat. I smiled and nodded, opening the car door for her. In the car, Chloe excitedly scrolled through the pictures she'd taken and posted them to Instagram. She carefully selected a few. One was a candid shot I'd taken of her, her profile beautifully illuminated as she gazed at a painting. The best anniversary gift is art that touches the soul. Thank you to the person who gets me. Red heart, she specifically tagged me. The post quickly racked up likes and comments, all of them envious of her and the person who gets her for seeing such an amazing exhibition. I could just imagine the look on Dylan's face, standing in the cold suburban wind with his ridiculous starry sky projector, when he saw that post. Compared to what I'd offered, his tacky surprise had been reduced to a complete joke. The practice kiss under Chloe's Instagram post. A mutual friend jokingly asked who the person who gets you was. She only replied with a mysterious smiley face, neither confirming nor denying. That kind of ambiguity was a signal in itself. One weekend evening, I invited Chloe over to my place to watch a classic romance movie. Halfway through, the main characters were locked in a passionate, rain-soaked kiss, a beautiful, intense scene. Chloe, hugging a throw pillow, suddenly let out a soft sigh, her eyes flickering. What's wrong? I asked, concerned. She seemed embarrassed, lowering her voice. It's nothing. It's just I feel a little nervous. Nervous about what? It's just, she bit her lower lip. When I think about maybe having to kiss Dylan, it just feels weird. I really don't want to. It even scares me a little. My mind sparked. On the surface, I showed an understanding smile and shifted slightly closer to her. I get it, I said gently, leading her on. A lot of girls get nervous the first time. They're afraid of doing it wrong, or they just don't like the feeling. It's completely normal. She looked up at me, her eyes pleading for help. So what do I do? I looked at her, so close I could see the confusion in her eyes and the dependency on me. I paused for a moment, then suggested, half-jokingly, what if I help you practice? Her eyes widened instantly. and a blush spread across her cheeks so fast it was visible. What? What are you talking about? She instinctively tried to pull back. I'm serious, I said, holding on my hands. We're just good friends, right? There's no pressure. Think of it as a game to get over your fear. It's better than being so nervous that you make things awkward with your boyfriend, isn't it? I put a slight emphasis on the word boyfriend, reminding her of the person who made her feel repulsed and scared. She froze, her eyes a battlefield of struggle and temptation. Her breathing became noticeably faster. We're best friends, right? Just don't think of me as a guy. If you're worried, Dylan might misunderstand. I'm sorry, Chloe. I forgot you even had a boyfriend. Maybe we should just forget it. She had been hesitating, but the moment she heard me mention Dylan's potential misunderstanding, her expression changed. Finally, as if making a monumental decision, she said, Don't mind him. We have a pure friendship. Your suggestion is for his own good, too. I agree. Are you sure? Chloe, don't force yourself. I wouldn't want Dylan to get the wrong idea. Let him try. You're my guy best friend. If he can't accept this, what right does he have to be my boyfriend? But Dylan, why are you being such a mother hen? I said it's fine. So, I'm coming in. Success. I leaned in. It was a kiss without emotion, purely technical. I slowed the pace, guiding her, showing her that a kiss could be like this. Not scary, not nerve-wracking, but even enjoyable. After a long moment, I slowly pulled back. Chloe's eyes were still tightly shut, her chest rising and falling rapidly. Her cheeks flushed a deep crimson. It took several seconds for her to slowly open her eyes. Her gaze was hazy, and she couldn't bring herself to look at me. How was it? I asked with a smile. Still scared. She opened her mouth, then lowered her head, blushing, and gave a tiny shake. I knew that from that moment on. Something had fundamentally changed. The snake in the grass after the practice kiss. The relationship between Chloe and me entered a new phase of unspoken ambiguity. The way she looked at me was filled with increasing dependency, shyness, and the thrill of the forbidden. Neither of us mentioned the kiss again, but the invisible line had been crossed. Once you've done it once, you'll do it again. She would just tell herself it was a game between best friends. A sacrifice made for Dylan's sake. Dylan seemed to have recovered from the anniversary disaster and was trying to get back in touch with Chloe. But every one of his invitations was met with an excuse. She preferred spending time with me, even if it was just watching a boring movie at my place or listening to me talk about things she'd never encountered before. And, of course, occasionally practicing. Dylan wasn't an idiot. Her obvious distance and the change in her behavior triggered a sense of crisis he'd never felt before. One evening, Chloe went to take a shower, leaving her phone on the sofa. A series of messages from Dylan popped up. Chloe, can we please talk? What's been going on with you lately? Why are you always with Leo Sullivan? Did he say something to you? I calmly got up and walked away, not touching her phone. When Chloe came out of the shower and saw the messages, her brow immediately furrowed. She typed back a sharp reply. What are you talking about now? You're acting crazy. She tossed her phone down and said to me, annoyed, I don't know what's gotten into Dylan lately. He's so paranoid. It's ridiculous. I sneered internally, but my face showed concern. You don't think he's under too much stress? Maybe something's wrong up here. I tapped my temple. Chloe paused. Then a look of realization crossed her face. Who knows? She said impatiently. He's been acting nuts all day. It's so annoying. I think he's just insecure and assumes everyone else is as shady as he is. I had successfully redirected his suspicion into the realm of mental instability. A few days later, I ran into Dylan. It was obvious he had been waiting for me. His eyes were dark as he looked at me. Leo Sullivan, let's cut the crap, he said, blocking my path. What will it take for you to leave? I looked at him with a blank expression. Leave? Oh, right. I'm leaving for a couple of days on a business trip. What's up? Don't play dumb. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Chloe. You're obviously trying to. Dylan, I interrupted him, my expression serious. I think you really need to get some rest. Or maybe see a doctor. You're acting really strange. Chloe and I are good friends. Everything I do is for the good of you two. I patted his shoulder, my tone sincere. Don't overthink things, man. Just be good to Chloe. That's more important than anything. With that, I turned and walked away, not giving another glance at his choked, disbelieving face. Pulling the rug out, Chloe's mom was having a birthday, and they were hosting a small family gathering at their house. Dylan, as the official boyfriend, was naturally invited. On the day of the party, I timed it perfectly. I showed up at Chloe's door holding a beautifully wrapped bouquet of lilies and a tasteful, understated gift. Chloe's face lit up with surprise and delight when she saw me. Leo, what are you doing here? I smiled and held up the flowers and gift. I heard it was your mom's birthday. I happened to be in the neighborhood and thought I'd crash the party for a drink and wish her a happy birthday. I hope she doesn't mind me showing up unannounced. Chloe's mom heard my voice and came over, her face breaking into a wide smile. In my past life, she had always been fond of me because of my relationship with Chloe, thinking I was mature and dependable. Leo, come in, come in. You shouldn't have, bringing gifts. Chloe's mom warmly pulled me inside. The contrast with Dylan, who was standing awkwardly to the side with a generic fruit basket, was stark. Dylan's face darkened the moment he saw me, but he couldn't say anything. During the meal, I was polite and charming, my conversation witty, making Chloe's mom laugh frequently. I served her food and chatted with Chloe's dad about current events, handling myself perfectly, the very picture of a thoughtful young guest. Dylan, on the other hand, seemed out of place, unable to get a word in, and could only eat in silence. After dinner, everyone was in the living room having tea. I found an opportunity to sit next to Chloe's mom and started a casual conversation. As we chatted, I shifted my tone, furrowed my brow, and put on a hesitant expression. Auntie, there's something. I don't know if I should say it. I lowered my voice, looking conflicted. What is it, Leo? You can tell me anything, she asked, concerned. I sighed, letting my gaze unintentionally drift over to Dylan, who was sitting across the room, trying and failing to get Chloe's attention. I'm just a little worried about Chloe and Dylan. Dylan, his personality is a little. Her ears perked up immediately. What about it? I can't get into specifics, I said, hesitating. It's just that he seems very impulsive and gets jealous easily. Chloe and I have been friends for so many years, and sometimes ugh, maybe I'm overthinking it. But last time, just because Chloe helped me with something small, he said a lot of nasty things and made her cry. I stopped at the perfect moment, my face a mask of conflict, as if to say, I'm only telling you this because I care, and I don't want to ruin their relationship. He did that. Chloe's mom's expression turned serious. Older people value character and maturity in a young man above all else. Jealousy, impulsiveness, immaturity, I just hit all the red flags. Auntie, please don't tell Chloe I said anything. I pleaded sincerely. It was just a passing thought. Maybe he's just young and not mature enough yet. I hope he'll change. Chloe's mom patted my hand. I understand, Leo. Thank you. You've always been the mature one. A couple of days after the party, Chloe came to me, fuming. I don't know what's gotten into my mom. She keeps telling me Dylan has a bad personality, that he's not mature, and that I should reconsider. She even said that a boyfriend should be broad-minded. Dylan must have been so boring at the party that my mom was not impressed. I knew exactly what had happened, but on the surface, I just comforted her. Parents always worry a lot. Don't take it too hard. Chloe pursed her lips. It's one thing to be boring, but he's so petty too. It's so annoying. Seeing Chloe's growing dissatisfaction with Dylan, I knew my plan to pull the rug out from under him had succeeded. Dylan probably still had no idea why. Despite doing nothing wrong, he had already been sentenced to death in the eyes of Chloe's parents. The peacemaker after the birthday incident, Chloe grew even colder toward Dylan. And Dylan, after being repeatedly shut down, was on the verge of exploding. The final meltdown happened on a Friday night. The group chat blew up with fiery messages. Dylan, Leo, Sullivan, I'm begging you, stop ruining our relationship. Give me back Chloe. Chloe, Dylan, can you stop being so irrational? My problems with you have nothing to do with Leo. Dylan, so what about you? How long are you going to keep this up? All because I didn't take you to that stupid art gallery? Chloe, am I the one being difficult? Dylan, can you please grow up? Talking to you is like talking to a brick wall. All you ever do is complain. Dylan, I'm a brick wall? You seem to have plenty to talk about when you're hanging out with Leo Sullivan every day. What's he to you anyway? Chloe, he's 1,000 times better than you. At least he understands me. He doesn't throw tantrums like you do. Seeing the argument escalate to the point of personal attacks, I knew it was my time to make an entrance. I grabbed my car keys and drove straight to Chloe's apartment building. Just as I pulled up, I saw the two of them under a streetlight, struggling. Dylan was grabbing Chloe's wrist, his voice raised, while Chloe was trying desperately to pull away, her face a mask of disgust. Dylan, I strode over and clamped my hand on his wrist. Let her go. Can't you talk things out? My sudden appearance made them both freeze. When Dylan saw me, his eyes turned bloodshot like an enraged lion. He immediately turned on me. Leo Sullivan, you again. Are you a goddamn ghost? You're everywhere. I gently pulled Chloe behind me, shielding her, my tone reproachful. Dude, calm down. What are you doing? Making a scene in the middle of the street like this. What am I doing? Dylan was shaking with fury, pointing a finger at my face. If it weren't for you poisoning her against me, would we be like this? You're a manipulative, backstabbing snake. Dylan, Chloe shrieked from behind me. You're talking nonsense. Leo has never said a single bad thing about you. You're the one who's petty and insecure. I'm insecure? Dylan was about to lose it. All right, both of you, that's enough. I kept one hand on Chloe and reached out with the other to pat Dylan's shoulder, trying to calm him. He flinched away in disgust. Listen to me, man, I counseled. You're supposed to comfort girl, not yell at her. Chloe's just upset. You need to give her some space. Can't you just communicate? Then I turned my head slightly and said softly to Chloe, Chloe, don't be so angry either. Dylan's probably just worried about you. He's just a little intense about it. Try to understand each other, okay? I stood between them, my words seemingly neutral, but every phrase was carefully crafted to favor Chloe and paint Dylan as the intense, incommunicative, and needs to change character. Dylan, I'm so disappointed in you. Leo is trying to help us, and you curse at him. Chloe said, looking at him with fury. Apologize to Leo right now. I should apologize to him? I'm your boyfriend. If you don't apologize, then don't call yourself my boyfriend. I find you completely unreasonable right now. Chloe's disappointment was palpable. It's okay, Chloe. You don't have to, I sighed. Dylan, man, she just cares about you. Just forgive him. Dylan looked like he was about to vomit blood. My God, those are my lines from the last life. Dylan, look at Leo, and then look at yourself. If you were half the man Leo is. Chloe frowned, trailing off. Dylan broke. He pointed a trembling finger at me. Finally, he squeezed out a single sentence through gritted teeth. Leo Sullivan, you're good. This isn't over. He viciously kicked a nearby trash can, then turned and stormed away. I watched his pathetic retreat, my heart a block of ice. Can't handle this much. The truth. Everything I've said is just me giving you back what you did to me in our last life, just a little sooner. We're not even close to being done. I slowly released my protective hold on Chloe and sighed. It's okay. He's gone. You should go up and get some rest. Chloe was still shaken. She looked in the direction Dylan had disappeared, and the last shred of hesitation in her eyes vanished, replaced by complete revulsion and disappointment. She turned to look at me, her eyes glistening with a layer of moisture, filled with dependency and gratitude. Leo, thank you. If you weren't here, I don't know what he would have done. I gently patted her back. Don't be scared. I'm here. The late-night confession Dylan's outburst was the final straw that broke Chloe's already depleted patience. She blocked him on everything. My life seemed to return to normal. I went to work, came home, occasionally had dinner or saw a movie with Chloe, like a pair of old, comfortable friends. But the ambiguous tension between us grew thicker by the day. The way she looked at me became more and more dependent. One night, I had just gotten out of the shower when I received a text from her. Leo, if I had chosen you back then, would everything be different now? If the Leo Sullivan from my past life, the one who was deeply in love with her, had seen this message, he would have been ecstatic. He would have felt that all his waiting and sacrifice had finally meant something. Right now, she was utterly disappointed with Dylan, completely lost about her situation. My constant protection and understanding had become the only warmth she could cling to. She was asking for help, seeking validation from me, seeking the courage and reason to escape her current life. Too bad for her. I am not her salvation. I am her karma. I didn't reply. Let her wonder. Let her wonder if I didn't see it, if I was asleep, or if I saw it and chose not to respond. That uncertainty, that torment, is the cruelest punishment of all. I want her to feel, with absolute clarity, what it's like to want something you can't have, what it's like to be ignored. Regretting it now, Chloe? Too late. The Leo Sullivan who would have cared about your feelings died a long time ago, a casualty of your hesitation and your indulgence. The first time Chloe was down for a few days. She didn't confront me about why I hadn't replied. She just became quieter. When she looked at me, there was a new layer of sorrow in her eyes. I knew the time was right. After a long period of manipulation and psychological control, her emotional dependence on me had reached its peak. She needed a stronger stimulus to confirm her place in my heart, or rather, to grab hold of the lifeline she thought I represented. On Friday night, I invited her over for a homemade pasta dinner. She came, wearing a dress I had once casually complimented, and she had put on makeup. At the table, I opened a bottle of red wine. She drank eagerly, glass after glass. Her cheeks quickly flushed, and her eyes grew hazy. Leo. She put down her glass, her voice thick with wine. That message the other night. Did you see it? I saw it, I said calmly. She didn't seem to expect such a direct admission. She froze for a second, and her eyes instantly reddened. Then why did you? Chloe, some things once said can't be taken back. Are you sure? I said. It sounded like I was being considerate, but it was a more advanced form of push and pull, shifting the pressure and responsibility of the choice entirely onto her. I'm sure. I've been sure for a long time, she choked out. I'm completely done with Dylan. I regret it, Leo. I regret not choosing you back then so much. She stood up, stumbled over to my side, and grabbed my arm, looking at me with tear-filled eyes. I know I have no right to say this now, but my heart, it's only ever been you. It's always been you. I looked at her pitiful state, feeling not a single ripple of emotion. The time was right. So, I want to give myself to you, right now. Leo, take me, please. I want this. With that, she closed her eyes, stood on her tiptoes, and tremblingly pressed her lips to mine. This time, it was no longer practice. I knew the net was closing. I scooped her up into my arms and carried her to the bedroom. Throughout the entire process, I was perfectly lucid. I watched her lose herself in passion, watched her bloom beneath me, listened to her whisper my name over and over, telling me she loved me. When she finally collapsed in my arms, her face streaked with tears and flushed with satisfaction, clinging to me tightly, I knew with absolute certainty I had won. The woman Dylan had coveted, the woman he would have killed me to possess, had just willingly offered me her most precious gift. And I hadn't even once told her that I liked her. This was the ultimate form of revenge. I gently brushed her damp hair from her forehead and kissed her temple. Go to sleep, I said. She snuggled into my arms and quickly fell into a deep sleep, a faint, happy smile still on her lips. Raising the stakes after our relationship became physical, Chloe completely cut off all ties with Dylan. She radiated the glow of someone in love, even though our relationship was never officially defined. However, Dylan wasn't ready to give up. After a period of silence and being stonewalled by Chloe, he finally couldn't take it anymore. His family formally approached Chloe's family through a mediator to propose an engagement. It's so annoying. Can you believe his family actually had the nerve to propose? And my mom is actually starting to soften, saying that Dylan's family is well off. Chloe fumed. I wrapped an arm around her shoulder and calmly helped her analyze the situation. Your mom is just thinking about your future. After all, marriage is the most important thing in a girl's life. Chloe immediately shot back. But I don't want to marry him. I only have you in my heart. I know, I said, patting her soothingly. But, Chloe, this is also a great opportunity. An opportunity? She asked, confused. An opportunity to test him, and also to secure the best possible situation for yourself. I coaxed her. Isn't his family well off? Then let's see just how much they're willing to give for you. The engagement ring, the gifts, the house, the car. These things aren't just about money. They're about their attitude, about how much they value you. I looked into her eyes, my tone becoming serious. You need to make your parents understand that you deserve the best. The demands have to be top tier, the absolute highest standard in this area. The wedding has to be extravagant. This isn't just about saving face. It's about making Dylan's family understand that marrying you, Chloe Hayes, isn't going to be easy. They have to show absolute sincerity. My words were framed entirely from her perspective, fighting for her interests, placing her on the highest pedestal. Chloe's eyes gradually lit up as she listened. She felt I was absolutely right. She had been through so much. Shouldn't Dylan's family compensate her? If she had to get married, though she was dead set against it, why not demand the very best? You're right, Leo. She clenched her fists. I'm going to talk to my parents right now. It has to be the highest standard. Otherwise, the engagement is off. That way, if the marriage falls through, it's their fault. Then I can marry you, she declared, before storming off to find her parents. As expected, under my strategic guidance, Chloe's parents' stance became incredibly firm. They had previously only been dissatisfied with Dylan as a person. Now, spurred on by their daughter, they felt they had to get material compensation to make sure she wasn't being taken advantage of. Dylan's family, who had assumed the engagement would be a sure thing given their financial status, was shocked when the Hayes family presented them with such exorbitant demands, far exceeding their expectations. Can you believe Dylan's mom called me a gold digger? Said my family was selling me off. Chloe complained to me, furious. That just shows how sincere they really are, I said calmly. If they're not even willing to do this much, how can you expect them to treat you well in the future? In the end, faced with the Hayes family's refusal to budge an inch, and in order to salvage a marriage they had already invested so much in, both financially and socially, Dylan's family had to practically drain their life savings to meet the top-tier demands. The engagement ceremony was, at last, reluctantly scheduled. Chloe felt no joy, only a vindictive pleasure, and I, in a corner where no one could see, allowed myself a cold smile. Dylan, how do you like this wedding gift I've so carefully prepared for you? Not only are you marrying a woman whose body and soul belong to another man, but you've also made your family pay a terrible price for it. And this is just the interest. The wedding night, redacted. After the engagement party, Chloe rested her head on my shoulder, her eyes staring blankly ahead as tears streamed down her face. Her hatred for Dylan had reached its peak. If it weren't for him, for this damned engagement, she could have been with the man she loved, openly and honestly. And the man she loved, she turned her head to look at me, calm and collected, and a wave of bitterness and guilt washed over her. She felt she had wronged me, forced me into this humiliating position, hidden away in the shadows. Are you all fired up? She asked me. I'm all fired up right now, I replied, playing along with the hopeful look in her eyes. Watching her desperate, passionate expression, I knew. Her feelings for Dylan were no longer just dislike. They were a deep, profound hatred. Everything she was doing now was to get back at him, and that was exactly what I wanted. On their wedding night, Dylan came home dead drunk, propped up by his best man, and collapsed on a bed. He was still mumbling Chloe's name, a smile on his face. Chloe stood by the bed, looking down at the unconscious man with nothing but pure disgust in her eyes. She walked over and sneered. You want to touch me? In your dreams. I already belong to him, inside and out. Every part of me is marked by him. She calmly took out a pair of scissors, pricked her fingertip, and squeezed out a few drops of blood, smearing them on the bedsheet. Then, she struggled to take off his jacket and shoes, messed up his hair, and created the illusion that they had consummated the marriage. In her heart, she made a silent vow. My body and soul will only ever belong to you, Leo. Then she grabbed a pillow, walked straight to the guest room, and locked the door behind her. Their supposed wedding night ended with Dylan in a drunken stupor. The next morning, Dylan woke up, his back stinging as if it had been scrubbed with a steel brush. He got dressed and saw Chloe brushing her teeth. Chloe, last night, you were too rough. You ripped my clothes, Chloe said, pointing to a set of lingerie she'd prepared beforehand. She also showed him a bruise on her arm, which she'd made herself, along with the scratches on his back, which she'd made with a washboard. What? I'm so sorry, Chloe. Tonight? Tonight? You can wait a few days. Chloe snorted. You gave me a complex last night. I'm sorry. Their married life after that was a sham. Chloe came whenever I called, day or night. As soon as my text or call came through, she would find an excuse to leave, shopping, a spa appointment, meeting a friend, or she'd just leave without a word. At first, Dylan tried to endure it, but time and again, watching his new wife drop everything for another man, the humiliation and rage nearly drove him insane. Finally, one night, when Chloe got a call from me and started to get ready to leave, Dylan snapped. He shot up from the sofa and grabbed her wrist. You're going to him again? Dylan's eyes were bloodshot. Chloe, I'm your husband. Do you see what time it is? Do you have any respect for me at all? Chloe winced in pain and tried to yank her arm away, but he held fast. She looked up at him, her eyes filled with undisguised disgust and contempt. Husband, she laughed, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Besides throwing a useless tantrum, what else can you do? You're disgusting. I'm disgusting. Dylan was shaking with rage. Look at yourself. Since we got married, besides our wedding night, have you let me touch you even once? You're running off to another man's place every day. Who's the disgusting one here? You're dreaming. You didn't even touch me on our wedding night. Don't you dare use your filthy mind to judge me and Leo. Chloe shrieked, furious. Our relationship is clean. It's pure. At least he doesn't throw fits like a child. She yanked her arm free with all her might. She grabbed her purse, and at the door, turned back to say, I can't stand the sight of you. Let's sleep in separate rooms. It'll be quieter for both of us. With that, she opened the door and walked out without a backward glance. Dylan stood frozen. He had won the marriage, but lost everything else. He had the title, but he couldn't even touch the hem of his own wife's clothes. A month later, Chloe sent me a photo, a positive pregnancy test. I stared at the screen, my pupils constricting slightly. Then she called. Leo, I'm pregnant. It's our child. Yeah, I know, I replied calmly. Take care of yourself. I'm busy. I hung up before she could say another word. Dylan, your wife, in name only, is pregnant with my child. It's time to end the game. The countdown after Chloe got pregnant. Her excuses for coming to see me became even more legitimate. She was always asking me to cook for her. She also brought some interesting news about Dylan. Apparently, Chloe had noticed that Dylan had circled a future date on the calendar. Each day that passed, he would cross it out. A calendar with dates crossed out? Why did that plot sound so familiar? A regret FIC? A countdown? Was he planning to disappear from Chloe's world in 7 days? Oh, I asked, curious. How many days until his big day? I think he circled it 7 days in advance. Chloe tried to recall. He made the first cross yesterday, another one today. So 5 days left. 7 days. Of course. I sneered internally. A real-life regret FIC? Had he been reading too many novels? Don't worry about him, I said, putting down my glass of water. Let him draw whatever he wants, as long as he doesn't bother you. Chloe nodded obediently, clearly uninterested in Dylan's behavior. In fact, she was glad he wasn't pestering her anymore. She was more concerned about my attitude. Seeing that I didn't seem bothered by Dylan's strange actions, she relaxed a little. The fire rises, I decided to go see Dylan's countdown for myself. After all, it's not every day that fiction bleeds into reality. When Dylan opened the door and saw me, his expression immediately darkened. He stood in the doorway, blocking the entrance. Dylan, man, Chloe asked me to come over and help out. I said loudly on purpose. Sure enough, Chloe heard my voice and came running from inside, a joyful look on her face. She ordered Dylan, get out of the way. What are you doing blocking the door? Leo's here to help me move some things. Dylan's chest heaved, but in the end, his face ashen, he stepped aside. I walked into their home, and my eyes immediately fell on the conspicuous calendar with 6 dates crossed out. The 7th box was still empty. Looks like today was the last day. Chloe followed my gaze, and her face filled with annoyance. She whispered, see? That's it. He's acting like a lunatic. I just smiled and started openly interacting with Chloe. The whole time, Dylan stood like a statue in the middle of the living room, his eyes glued to me. When we were done, Chloe went to get me some water. As if suddenly curious, I walked straight to the desk and picked up the calendar. The color drained from Dylan's face. He rushed over. What are you doing? Put that down. Chloe came over with the water and glared at him. What are you yelling about? It's just a stupid calendar. What's the big deal if Leo looks at it? I turned to Chloe, waving the calendar in my hand. Chloe, look at this. Who still plays this game of crossing out dates on a calendar? I sneered. Is he planning on leaving you or something? How amusing. Boom. My words were like a thunderclap, tearing his pathetic charade to shreds. His bloodshot eyes stared at me, filled with a towering, humiliating hatred. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. He suddenly spun around and stumbled out of the house. The slam of the door was so loud it seemed to shake the walls. Chloe jumped, then frowned in disgust. What's wrong with him now? Leo, just ignore him. Let him go. Good riddance. He's been reading too many Wattpad stories. Can't tell fiction from reality. It's okay, I said, tossing the calendar aside and taking the glass of water from her. He's gone. Let's continue. Perfect. I'm all fired up again. You think you could just run away? Pay the child support first.